are testing in production. Are you doing a little dance there, Pierre? What's going on there? Or are you actually like suffering some sort of seizure?
No, I was just that music's so dramatic. It's just gonna bum 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 bum.
True enough.
Getting into it. Just getting into it.
Yep. Oh no, I totally get it. I that's why I chose it. And as we talked about last week, being able to buy some great music like that is super helpful, and I love it. I Am Per says that he wants more cowbell though.
Yeah, more cowbell.
I don't think we'll get more cowbell. Vizio MVP wants air drums. You were doing a pretty good air drums there, so.
No, I wouldn't win any competitions, that's for sure.
Fuel Snobble, I wouldn't say the real show is back, but yes, thank you very much for saying that. If I said that in front of my other employer, that would probably not go over well.
Well, my employer is somewhere in Northern California right now on his motorcycle. Therefore,
yep.
I don't think he's listening.
I doubt he is. He doesn't listen when you're in a meeting with him. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. We know your employer. Your manager. How you doing, Pierre?
I'm okay. Just getting ready to, now that the stay-at-home order is lifted, I am heading to my in-laws this afternoon.
Oh, wonderful. That's awesome. It must be nice. I totally understand, as I've taken my first two trips. First one was to see a good friend, Peter Gray. It was his 50th birthday. And then we'll talk about it a little bit more, but I just came back from a trip myself. I got to see my mother for the first time in 18 months, and that was just amazing. So.
Very cool. Very cool.
Very cool. Well, let's say hi to everybody in the chat room. We've got along with us today, I know he's not probably listening to the stream, but Buckeye J-Flow's in the chat. We also have Academy Impossible, Fuel Snobble, I Am Per, Lateraline, I Am Curious Mauve. I think the last two were bots. Vizio MVP and Womblegooner. I think it's Womblegooner, or is it Wobblegoner? I think it's Gooner. And then it looks like Aspen Forrester just arrived. Please take a seat, sir. You're a little late, but we haven't started yet.
Just starting now.
I think Aspen Forrester, table for one. Aspen Forrester, table for one. So a little bit about our last broadcast of Testing in Production. We've run into a little problem.
Yes, even though the person or the company that provided the music made sure that it's their documentation, the license says free to use, don't worry about it, go for it, use it on Twitch, use it on YouTube, do everything. Our video on demand got muted for the duration when we're using their music, even though we're following all the rules.
So we got muted.
We got muted.
But it was just the music, or was it the whole thing?
Just the beginning of the music at the beginning when we were using the I can't remember the name of it now, but we had tried a new service that provided playlists for free, and now they're obviously not legit, so we're not going to use them anymore.
Legit, I think the problem was we didn't put in, like, we had to have a certain thing in our feed, and we didn't have
in the description. We had to have accreditation in the description. I can't remember whether or not we had it or not.
We didn't. I didn't know we were supposed to. So hence we got muted.
We got muted.
All the rules. The bots. So this is what happens when you run afoul. There was a big news thing a couple of weeks ago where they're starting to get more DMCA takedowns. I got an email from Twitch. This is why I know. They're getting more DMCA takedown requests from music companies. And as they put it in their email to streamers, this appears to be bot activity. So the music company has unleashed their bots on the streams
Yep.
And they say if you have any copyrighted music, go ahead and just take it out of your streams, delete your VODs. Otherwise,
and sometimes it's not necessarily the copyright holder is the music company or the copyright holder will hire these firms or these companies to monitor it.
exactly.
And these companies are very aggressive because they get paid whenever they're blocking somebody.
Correct.
So they have the bots that go and cut it all out.
Yes, and one of the interesting things I did find was I can't remember who it was. There's an artist, a music artist that streams video games, and they got their music. They got DMC striked by their own music company, and it's like, I own the music. It's my music. I can play it whenever I want. But yep. Fields Novel brings up that attribution is very important. One company I worked for got into problems because they used a FOSS library that required attribution. They didn't attribute it properly. Microsoft has done that as well. In fact, we now have a full system that scans all of our repos looking for open source so we can properly, attribute, know our versioning, all those sorts of things. And it's and it's really cool as it's a part of my organization that does that. But at the same time, we're looking to productize that for our customers on both GitHub and Azure DevOps repos. So that'll be really nice for that.
Well, giving credit where credit is due should be a no-brainer for anyone. Just like when we even talked about that last week when somebody cuts and pastes one of my blog articles to their own site.
Yep.
I don't care if you do that. As long put it at the top says this article was posted here and
no, I was just gonna say, I can't wait to copy your dynamic DNS article onto my blog and just
you like that, didn't you?
Yeah, I'm gonna just change the domain name so that it's mine, and you've already done all the work for me, so.
Well, and there was a Reddit conversation on that because somebody posted it on Reddit and in the Azure Reddit saying, hey, take a look at this. And somebody came back and said, you can do the same thing in one line of code with an AZ command, so Azure CLI to update the record in one line of code, which is true.
Yep.
Absolutely. Except that when you do that, you need to log in to authenticate to the subscription so that you can run that one line of code.
Yes.
Or you can put your credentials in the script, which I don't recommend ever.
I unfortunately have seen people do that, and that is not good. That's not good at all.
That's not good. So I decided to do it in a way where it's a bit more complicated, but it's secure. I can change the keys whenever is needed. Even if it does get compromised, the only thing that the function can do is change that DNS record. And it's scalable, so I can run that script on multiple systems and pass different name of the system. So one will be home.wiredconnect.com, and the other one would be dev. And point to different locations.
Exactly. No, that's smart. That's super smart. The nice thing to have. I also wanted to go through and I haven't played as much with Azure Functions than I'd like to, so I want to get into that and take a look at the code that you had there. So I was really looking forward to diving into that. I mean, I've read the post, but I want to dive in and do some kind of co-creation alongside it.
Well, Azure Function, everybody, and I had that conversation, I don't know how many times last year during, last year or the year before. I don't know. It's becoming a blur. But in-person events where we had discussion on automating management of your environment, and I said, well, why don't you just use a function? He goes, oh, no, that's a dev stuff. That's a dev thing.
No.
You can run PowerShell, you can run Bash, you can run Python, you can run tons of stuff, and automate it so you don't have to manage a VM just to run your script.
Exactly. And we've been the only reason why we still have, in one case, we do have a VM running scripts, because it's in our on-premises environment. Like, literally on, it's they Azure can't reach it. So it's like, okay, we have to have at least one machine on premises.
Mine's running on a Raspberry Pi because I've got like a whole bunch of them. So these are the ones that are unused right now. They're sitting on my desk waiting for a project. But I've got, I think, 2 or 3 in my wiring closet.
Yep.
One is running my Ubiquiti network controller.
Okay. Yep.
So I don't have to run it virtually anywhere and
you didn't
power
buy their
goes
cloud
off.
Key.
Hey?
You didn't buy their little cloud key.
I didn't buy the cloud key. There's no need for that. It's so easy to install and it works beautifully. Mm-hmm. My other one is running my internal DNS server, so all of my machines at home, when they boot and they get the DHCP-N DNS, so when they get an IP address, they dynamically update my DNS server internally, which is also a resolver outside, so I'm not using my ISP's DNS, so they can't track where I go.
Yep.
And everything goes through a Pi hole as well, so any ads or anything like that are stripped.
Nice.
So
nice.
That's one, and that's the one that's actually running the script as well.
Oh, excellent.
Script only runs twice a day for now.
Well, no, it's a nice little handy network, and the main reason why you created this dynamic DNS setup is you want to be able to access your home network when you're at a conference potentially, or when you're not at home.
Yes, when we start traveling again, because there's already a couple of conferences that have been announced in person, Live 360s in person in Orlando in November. I think VMware World, I think, is announced.
Okay.
They're in person. I can't remember if it's VMware or Amazon reInvent. Anyway, one of the two has announced that they're in person. So we're starting to get back to normal. I don't know if it's going to be as much travel from abroad, but at least within the U.S. And our governments are talking about reopening the border between the U.S. and Canada. So maybe pretty soon I'll be able to go somewhere.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah.
I do want a quick shout out to AZ Cloud Elf and Exchange SME for showing up. I see that they're in the chat room, and I am per saying OCCC next year.
Yeah, I would have preferred New Orleans because I haven't been to New Orleans in a while. But hey, exactly. I don't care where it is at this point. I'll go. I would even do Vegas in July, but
yeah. Well, you must have had a busy week last week with a build. We had the build conference going on, and you were helping out, doing a couple of discussions. 2
sessions at build. One on hybrid. We did like a table talk, so it was kind of informal but very interactive. There was 4 of us. Me on the infrastructure, somebody on the security, somebody from developer point of view, and we were discussing hybrid from multiple different points of view. So that was quick. And those table talks are way too short. You can barely scratch the surface of the subject. So towards the end of the summer, we're planning on doing some office hours on multiple topics in our Discord.
Oh, wow. That is kind of cool.
Yep.
I am per brought up his laptop sticker collection is now at 0. I totally understand. I have a fresh laptop that is completely bare, no stickers. I got to get a whole bunch of stickers. I got to get some from these guys, the little raccoon stickers. I love those. To put on there. We may have to come up with one for testing and production.
Yes, absolutely. I've gone the other way. My new laptop is bare, and I'm going to keep it that way. I'm even looking at dbrand some really nice kind of like carbon fiber skins.
Oh yeah.
Very, very simple, very clean.
Yep.
So I'm looking at those, but I think I'm going the other way. No stickers, at least on my laptop.
Okay, gotcha.
That was a good trick I used to have. Is I would buy a vinyl transparent skin.
Yep.
Put all the stickers on it, so when I changed my laptop, I would just peel it off and stick it somewhere.
Yeah, and then you could refresh that, or if you want to refresh the stickers, you could just take that one off and start a new one. Those kinds of things.
I have a question for you. You mentioned that you're starting to travel again, and yes. I'm looking forward to travel again. One thing that we all do when we travel, because we're IT folks and we like gear.
Yes.
What do you take with you?
Oh, that's a really good question. Especially since like I said, I just got back from a week in New York. Just first time I saw my mom in a long time. Second flight I've taken, and I got to tell you, my checklists are all behind the times. I left stuff behind. I brought my nice big digital camera with me, and I forgot the most important part,
which is the card reader.
The card reader, because it uses an XQD card. And I couldn't pull, I had to use, they had a app where I could kind of pull off a picture, but yeah, it's like I didn't have my app. Oh my goodness. I'm like,
there's no USB port in the camera that you can just put it into connect mode.
But it's not standard. It's special. It's a Nikon. Dude, it's a Nikon.
God.
Yeah, they have that weird wide USB one. I think it's a split power.
I think I have one of those.
Yeah, no, I don't have one of those cables because I bought my cameras used. So I don't have the cables.
Yeah, I used to have one of those cables because I had the little Coolpix camera.
Yeah.
The very small one. They used to go to conferences and keep it in. Well, that was before phones had better cameras than most cameras.
Oh, yeah. But I actually started, I got my kit together a little bit, and I can kind of show off what I got going on here. So let me jump over to our show and tell view. This is the key thing. This guy goes in, travels with me almost every time, and ironically, I bought it when I went to the Bay Area for a conference, and I forgot a USB power brick.
Yeah.
And I got it on Amazon and had it delivered to an Amazon locker right next to the hotel. I ordered it on the plane, and it was at the locker when I landed. So
yeah, I got one of those. I got the Anchor one, the Anchor power bar.
Anchor. And this one has 5 regular speed USB and 1 supercharger on it.
Yeah. Yeah, the version I have, I think, they're all supercharged, but they're smart, so it adjusts depending on what the device is plugged into.
This is as well, but this probably bought it just a little bit before you. And then I actually, because it uses a standard kind of figure 8 plug in the back, I have 2 figure 8 plugs. One's a short one. If I have it, if it's close enough to the power outlet, I can just use this shorty. Then I've got a longer one. And the great thing about the longer one is I can, most of the time the shorty will work. This becomes a nice longer plug for all of my power bricks for my laptops or my Surfaces. Because they're almost every laptop I have has that figure 8.
Yeah, the Surface doesn't. Surface is one of those that's kind of built into the block.
My Surface has figure 8s.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you have a third-party power supply?
Nope.
But
I have Surface Pros, not Surface Book.
Oh, I have a Surface Book and a Surface laptop, and they both have the wire built into the power supply.
Nope, mine aren't that way. And then the other thing I have with me all the time, I call it, and you and I were talking about this during our production call. I have what I call, I didn't call it this way, but I love what you called it, and that's the presenter pouch.
The presenter pouch, yes.
The presenter pouch. Because how many times do we need a special video cable or we need something else?
I need that pouch, not the stuff in it, but that pouch is nice because mine is just like little bags that I've collected here and there.
Yep, this is Amazon, so works great. In here, I've got like a USB extender. I have my Apple Lightning to HDMI. I need to present that. I even have, this is a little, this guy's a little Miracast HDMI
Oh, that's nice.
Miracast. I'm just going to leave it at that. And thanks to you, I have a second one of these HDMI capture cards to USB 3. These are the best. I think Joey told you about this, and then you got one, and then you told me.
Well, he told me about it. We tried it because he was using a Camlink, which I also am reusing. But every time he plugged in the Camlink, that's exactly the one. His CPU would go up.
Yeah, it was, and same with mine.
Yeah. So we were starting to look for an option, and we found that little one on Amazon. That's like $30 Canadian.
Yeah.
And then plugged it in.
Mm-hmm.
No CPU change at all, and then all of a sudden it works. So
exactly.
For $30, yeah, I've got one in my bag as well, on top of the one behind my computer.
Now this is a great thing that I got. I actually got it with a dock for work. It's a USB to USB-C, so it's USB-A on one end, the male going in, and then it's USB-C. So I can plug any USB-C into a USB-A if I need to. And then, in case I absolutely need it, I have a micro USB to Lightning. And then on the flip side here, I think this is important for a lot of folks. I have a little USB. It's a primarily for the network port.
Yep.
And then it's got 2 USB ports. It's all USB 3, and then it's also got an SD card reader.
Okay.
So I could plug that in and be able to look at my SD cards if I need to. And then the only other thing I have in that bigger pocket, I won't pull it out, is just an HDMI cable, a little 3-foot HDMI cable.
Okay. So your kit is almost like my presenter kit. The only difference I have is I have 2 little pouches because your pouch has like 2 sides. Me, I've got 2 separate pouches.
Yep.
The difference is, and here I can see,
I can switch.
is I have those USB 3 HDMI port with network. I have 2 of those.
Right.
And I always carry 2 of those because at a conference, one of a colleague will come up and say, "Oh, by the way, can I borrow it?"
Yeah.
And then it grows legs and disappears.
Exactly.
So I have 2 of those. And who was saying that earlier? Anchor Rocks, Aspen Forrester saying Anchor Rocks. Well, these are anchors.
Yep. Anchor has a lot of nice equipment for mobile use.
Yeah.
For sure.
So I've got 2 of those, and I've got 2 clickers. my old Logitech clicker, that's my backup because it's I like it, but it's not as good as the other one. And you know when they get older, the rubberized coating kind of gets a little sticky.
Yes.
So it's not as comfortable to have in your hands anymore. But this is the one. This is my main one.
Gotcha.
And people think I have too many boxes. Is my the Logitech clicker.
That's
I can't remember what it's called.
That's a nice one.
But yeah, it's really nice, and it does have. There's a highlight button on it, so it turns on this yellow or magnifying glass on your slide, and you can basically just move it, and the gyroscope actually moves the highlighter on your slide.
Oh, wow.
So instead of having a little yellow or red or green laser across a gigantic room that nobody can see, that goes around. So that's the one I have in here.
Excellent.
So I also have another bag over there with all of the this one here. I keep that in the hotel typically. So USB 3, SD cards, HDMI, display port, VGA, USB-C for powering, so I can charge something with USB-C and network adapter, and just like you, USB-C to USB 3 adapter.
Yep.
Those are worth their weight in gold, even though they're not too heavy.
Yep.
But we're doing a lot of videos.
Yes, we are.
So I used to have, and I'll show that. There's my mobile cam. This used to be the kit I used to carry.
The big Pelican case, my friends. Look at that thing.
And this is the small one. I used to have a big one that they would have to get me through cargo instead of regular luggage. Because, oh, wait a minute. Zoni, that's me. We're back. Because it was too big, but it was all padded. So it was great. I could use it.
Yeah.
But I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to have 2 or 3 suitcases. Well, it depends on where I'm going and what I'm going to do. So if I need the big cameras, I'll take that because it's padded and it's ruggerized. But if I'm just doing podcasting, I have shrunk my kit to something that's more manageable.
That's smart.
So I've got this was my original sound kit. So these are 2 wireless Sennheiser mics. With I used to have the GoPro and this right now this is the one I'm using now, but the GoPro was in here with the GoPro batteries, the XLR connectors, and this would go with the Zoom H5.
Oh, nice.
And I could add 2 extra channels, so to have 4 XLR channels that we could record to.
Yeah.
But this was fairly big, so I'm not using that anymore. And of course, because I've got more money than brains.
Maybe that should be the tagline of this podcast: "More money than brains."
Yeah. So now this is the kit that I carry. So that is all. I've got 2. I've got 2 Insta mics.
Well, those are nice.
So these are little microphones that have the microphone array at the top, and you just, with the clip, you can just clip them on your t-shirt or inside your coat, and then turn them on. And let me guess, the battery's dead on it. Could be.
Could be.
Yeah, I think the battery's dead.
Uh-oh.
It's been a while since I used it, so I'm not surprised. I know the other one. Oh yeah, that one is. So it turns on. It records locally on an SD, on a flash memory on here.
Oh, interesting.
So I don't have to worry about, because when you go to Ignite, we're not allowed to use wireless microphones,
right?
Because it interferes with everything else that we have.
Exactly.
So this records locally, and when I'm done, I can just plug it into the USB port in the back and transfer the files, the audio files, to whatever I need. So I've got 2 of those. So if I'm doing an interview, we both wear one, and we talk just like we would normally.
Excellent.
So that replaced my Sennheiser. So this size difference is significant. So that's. I also have a wired lapel microphone just in case, and the camera is. I now have a 4K DJI on a gimbal 4K camera that I can mount in here. Use a phone as the screen, and plug in an external mic so that I have a sound source on the video to match with the sound source on my little microphones.
That's amazing.
That takes no room at all. It's on the gimbal, so if I move around, your image is stable. So that's now my recording kit when I'm on the road.
Pierre, you've blown the minds of people in the chat room.
And of course, because I'm a diva when I travel and present I also have two
Of your own
Madonna
headsets.
my Madonna mics, and I've got one that's a Sennheiser compatible 3.5 millimeter connector, or the other one, because you never know where you're going to be presenting. The other one that's about the same, but with a mini XLR connector, so it plugs into any of the Shure's systems. That way I don't have to worry about lapels because I'm French. I move a lot when I talk, and typically I'm by a microphone goes very low. This when I turn my head, and then when I turn it back, it gets loud again.
Yep.
So that's my kit, and
That's an amazing
talking. That's not talking about all the crap that I get in my room.
Oh yeah. Well, hold on.
In my room, I want you to show what you have, but this is, I typically put this in my suitcase. This is an old Linksys Cisco router, but I flashed it with DDWRT, and it's got a built-in OpenVPN client that when I plug it in, it calls home. So regardless of what hotel I'm in, I'm always coming out of my internet connection is always coming out of home.
Man, if you just had some way to manage the dynamic DNS. Oh, wait a minute. You now understand where the dynamic DNS article came from, folks. Right there.
Okay, I am per. Wait, are you French? What was that question? Did I mess up some words or something?
No, I don't think people really believe you're French. With a name like Pierre Roman.
Pierre Roman. Oh oui.
Oui.
On peut faire le reste du podcast en français, s'il te plaît?
Okay.
So this is my kit, but you had a better one or something that I want to get.
There's a couple things I do want to show off. The funny part is you didn't let me show off the back half because my kit that I had has 2 pockets on it. And so we'll go ahead and jump back to the show and tell. So we had the front pocket with all these cables. By the way, I was missing one. I forgot my USB-A to USB-C, USB-A female to USB-C male.
Yeah.
But then I have all these items in the backside. And I have actually a mini display port to DVI, HDMI, and VGA because you can never tell where you're going to present.
Exactly.
And I bought from the same company a USB-C version that goes to VGA, HDMI, and DVI, and it also has a USB-A port just because since it's USB.
I used to carry those adapters, but I have to admit, in the past, in the year and a half before we stopped traveling, it's either been VGA or HDMI.
Yep. I've run into a few DVI still.
Oh.
And because I'm going to smaller events, typically, like SharePoint Saturdays, where they're in somebody's office and they have older equipment. But this was a nice little, actually, when I spoke at, speaking of SharePoint Saturday in Silicon Valley, they gave us these nice presenter pointers that actually it's slideshow, and then it also does the laser pointer. And
so you can get your audience to start chasing the pointer in the middle of the room.
That's either that or distract them from certain slides by just saying, "Hey, look over here."
Over here.
But it was really nice gift, and I actually like it better because it's got its own. It's actually infrared, so I can put this out wherever I want it, and I don't have to. I've actually used my USB extension cords, and I've actually set it so I don't even have to turn around, and I can just present.
But doesn't infrared need line of sight?
Yes, it does need line of sight, which means I can't accidentally hit it too. Because there are times where I accidentally hit the buttons, and because I'm not pointed at it, it doesn't change. It doesn't advance the slide. So. And this last item, this may be one of those things, and it's a Microsoft only kind of deal. Because sometimes I have to work on the road, I actually have a smart card reader.
Oh, yeah.
Because some of my laptops don't have smart card readers in them.
None of mine do anymore.
For production systems, we still have to use our smart cards. However, we're also moving over to YubiKeys.
I had one of those. I can't find it. It grew legs.
Yes, those. I have a couple of those. I am Per says you bought a bunch of those on Monoprice. Which what'd you buy on Monoprice? But half of them arrived DOA. It's good to chat about this. We'll let it.
The keys or the card readers.
I think it might have been the display adapters.
Ah.
But this is what I was going to show off to you, sir, after seeing that big, the USB, it's the display adapters. Half of them were DOA. That sucks that half were DOA. That's not good. So I got this a while back before Wi-Fi in hotels was fairly ubiquitous, and that there was a plethora of hotels that had Wi-Fi.
Okay, I got a drink now.
Okay, I'm just waiting. Yeah, go ahead. All right, everybody, let's wait. Okay. Oh, I should probably drink with you. Anyways, I originally, actually, before I move forward, Wobble Gooner says, "Do you use YubiKey for personal accounts?" I have a YubiKey. I haven't set up yet. My problem is it's such an old YubiKey. It'll still work. It's one of their originals, but it is so old. It's USB-A only. So I've been meaning to possibly upgrade it. My work YubiKey, one of which, this is the one I have for GitHub, because I'm in a weird situation. I don't know if I've ever explained it fully. I work for both Microsoft and GitHub.
Do you get paid twice?
No, I wish. No. But I have to adhere to both companies' rules, but there are some advantages for, we'll talk about that in a minute. The YubiKeys that they sent out for GitHub, and I'll hold it up closer, they have USB-C on one end and Lightning on the other, and they're NFC. So
that's nice.
This is wonderful. I can use it with phones. I can use it with my PCs. So they require it more and more with their security teams.
I've gone away from the key, and I keep just two-factor authentication with my phone because I always have, for some reason, I forget the key somewhere.
I understand, because here's my YubiKey for production work at Microsoft, and I have it so I can put it on my keychain.
Yeah.
But this is my production one from Microsoft, and it has actually the great thing about YubiKeys and the way you can manage them, I have 4 certs on here. 4 different certs for 4 different authentications. That's super helpful. When I deal with my other accounts, I have, for example, by the way, I'm still on vacation, folks, so I haven't gotten myself prepared for work. I have 5 of these smart cards, 1 for each account, and 1 YubiKey for the other 4 accounts. I have to carry these, multiple smart cards or 1 YubiKey. I like the YubiKey.
Yeah, so you're not the guy we want to be behind when you're trying to get through the door and you're fumbling through all those cards to see which one will actually open the door.
Actually, none of them open doors. That's I have a separate one for opening doors that's in my coat. So, but one of the things I ran into when I was at on the road, hotels used to have only wired access in the rooms. And I didn't want to sit by the desk. I didn't want to have a 500-foot cable with me. So I'd found this little company called Hutu. And they had these little wireless adapters. Okay. That were basically, this is a router. This is a wired router, or this is actually their Gen 2, if you will. But I could plug in a cable, and this is a wireless router. It is a private network I can connect to. Better yet, with their version 2, I can connect to another wireless network. So I can now connect to a Wi-Fi network in a hotel, but I can have my own private network and all my devices connect to it, not the hotel.
Oh, that's cool. Plus, a lot of hotels, they I don't think they do as much anymore, but they used to limit the number of connections that you could do connected to your room.
Now, what I've done in the and I've done this as recently as a few years ago, 2 years ago, before travel was stopped. I have gotten a premium account, but most of the time, the premium Wi-Fi is only eligible for one machine. You have to buy it for every machine. I buy one, then use this guy to do my to do my Wi-Fi, and then all my devices have the premium access. I'm gonna say the trip to Milwaukee and the trip to New York, I stayed in hotels both times, 2 different chains, and both chains I was on the standard Wi-Fi, and it was more than enough to do remote desktop streaming, you name it. Streaming got a little jaggy when it was like 8-9 p.m. when everybody was using it.
Yeah, porn o'clock.
Porn o'clock, yes. But the other nice thing about this, though, is it has a USB port on it, and it is a file server. And so I've taken, this is actually a 64 gig little mini USB, and I've copied all of the movies that I own onto it, and I can actually stream it from my Hutu. So I don't even need to be, this just needs to be powered on. I don't even need to be connected to the internet, and I can stream movies. I'm the kind of person, I like rewatching movies. Oh.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
So your thing is the same as this one, because I do have like the USB port in the back and everything, except that's size.
Yes, it is a lovely little size, and it's powered by micro USB.
Oh, very cool.
Yes. Now, I do have one other one, and it's sitting here to the side. This is also similar, and this is made by Sateki, and it is also it's a power converter, because it has a regular. Where's the regular? Oh, the regular plugs are on the outside here. No, that's not the plugs. Where are they? Oh, right here. It has the generic plug-in for almost any country. But you can plug it in, for example, to UK, and then I can plug in my US. Typically, I have a little power strip that's got like 4 outlets, and I'll plug it into that. I've stopped really doing that because all I really need is a couple of USB and maybe my laptop.
Yeah.
And in many cases, I don't know about you, I have been most of the time, I now have a European plug and a UK plug for my Surface bricks, so I don't even need this.
That's good.
Yeah. So this just gives me added thing. Well, guess what? This is also a Wi-Fi, and it has a wired network that I can plug it into the hotel. So this is also, I use this in the US because it's just smaller and lighter to pack, but I can take this on the road internationally and plug in anywhere.
Okay, so you're gonna have to put those links in the show description, because I'm going to go buy the little one.
The Hutu? Yes.
Yeah, I as much as I like this one, and at least I used to have the original Linksys, the big one with the antennas.
Yep.
In my suitcase. Now I've kind of went to another old one, but this is not for performance. This is just for convenience in hotels. At least it's flat.
Yeah.
So if it goes in my suitcase, it's easy. And if it gets destroyed, who cares?
Oh, totally. The last thing I wanted to do show and tell, and this is not just vacation, but this is very much for conferences as well. I got this awesome case here. You know, it's what is this? If I put here, this is my iPhone, or not my iPhone. This is my OnePlus. What is that? About 6.5 inches. It's about 9-10 inches long, about 3.5 inches wide. And inside here, I have a great Anchor battery.
Oh, that's a big one.
26,000 megawatt amps, is it, or the milliamp hour? Sorry, milliamp hour.
1 million amps.
And it has actually its own high-speed charger for USB-C for it. I am able to charge my phone at least, I would say, 6 times, maybe 7. I've charged my iPad 3 times. I even have this lovely cable that I bought. And let me undo the, oops, wrong one. That's a USB-C to USB-C. It's USB-C to Surface.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
I have powered both my Surface Pros and my Surface Pro X off this. And of course, the Surface Pro X charges, like crazy off this battery.
Yeah. Well, we all have those batteries. I've got one here. It's only 8,000 mAh. Milliamp hours,
Yep.
but it's enough to charge the phone a couple of times. But it's small enough I can put it in my back pocket, and
Yes.
I'm still okay.
Yes, and that's a big difference. This is a bigger, heavier
that one,
battery.
yeah. You put that in your back pocket or in your front pocket, and you're like,
Your pants are on the floor.
yeah.
And those smaller batteries are great for that thing, that sort of use. Where I do, one of the things that I've done is I've actually, and I'm going to jump to the big view here just to, let's see here. I'm actually going to have to manually do this change. I have bought this backpack from eBay.
Okay.
And one of the great things about it is on one side, trying to find the side, here it is, right there. Let's see if I can get it into the light a little bit better. Right there. This is a USB port.
Okay.
And then there's a USB cable on the inside. I can plug that cable into my battery bank and charge my phone while I have the backpack on. So if I'm walking around the airport or if I'm walking around a conference, I can, if I have my backpack with me, it's beautiful, and I can actually charge without having like cables stringing out of it and stuff. And then I can quickly unplug and put everything away. It's not like other sort of situations. So I really like that. Astrid Forrester did bring up a TP-Link, makes a travel router that works pretty well. Cool. The TLWR902 Alpha Charlie.
TP-Link is one of those companies. I have a couple of their switches here, the small ones. Mm-hmm. Some have been rock solid, and others are just pieces of crap. So I like the stuff that they do, but I find that the execution on some models, I don't know if they have a budget line and a regular line of products. Some is very, very much hit and miss, and
Yes.
others is really good.
Yes.
So, or maybe I'm just too close to Rick Claus, and the Claus aura is affecting my gear.
I wasn't going to say anything, but, I will say this. Now that I've thought about it, and here, I'm going to switch back to the show and tell view. The Hutu is going back into the travel case.
Before you leave and forget about it?
Exactly, because it's something easy. It's that small. It fits just nice. I can have it with me at all times and just throw this. I throw this into my backpack, and typically what I do is I have a pocket. It's this wide. I have this guy and this guy right next to each other, and then the power cable can come in and go straight into the battery.
Yeah, that's good.
So,
Yeah, no, for trips, like if not last year, I keep saying last year. It's I think we're still in March 2020.
I know. It feels that way sometimes.
So last year, meaning 2019, when I was actually traveling like to Japan and Korea, and I would take that big Pelican case.
Rub it in.
I would take that Pelican case because I would go from one place to the other. So I had all my gear. You never had to get to like South Africa and say, crap,
Yeah.
I forgot the one thing I needed.
Exactly.
Because there's also like a full-size power bar.
Mm-hmm.
Because as much as the little ones which I have in my backpack, which I haven't touched in a year, but my there's a full size in there because in the hotel room somewhere, you can never have too much power.
Right. No, that's so true. It's so true. So,
And one thing that is in my pockets whenever I travel now, or whenever I'm going to meetings or meetups, is let's see if I can
put it back into the Pierre mode. Oops. There we go.
So this is I think it's 64 gigs or 128 gig USB key, but on one side it's USB A, on the other side it's USB C.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
So I never have to worry about, oh, do I have an adapter? Do I have no? It's both at the same time. It's 128 gigs. So
that's great.
And on the back of it, you can expand it by putting an SD card.
A mini SD, or is that micro? Or
a micro SD card.
That's awesome. That's a great little setup.
Yeah, so that always goes in my pocket.
Very cool. Very cool indeed.
So with all this talk about traveling, when the hell are we going anywhere?
Well, I actually want to kind of talk a little bit about that. I had a great time with my family. Unfortunately, though, I've realized my mom's not as in good shape as she might have been. So I'm actually going to be on the road in July and August.
Okay.
I'm going to actually travel back to New York. And
Back to the Future?
No, I wish.
Okay.
I'm actually going to drive to New York and spend. I'm in a lucky situation thanks to my job. They're giving us a little bit more time because as a part of the GitHub organization, there's been a lot of work done over the past year, and they want people to get mentally healthy. So they're giving us a lot of time off this summer.
Yeah.
And a lot of opportunities to take time. We still don't have to work from the office until at least September. So I'm going to drive back to New York and work from New York. So I'll be in the Eastern time zone.
Hey.
As such, though, I am going to take my full rig with me. That's why I'm driving and not flying. Plus, I don't want to rent a car for 2 months.
That's going to be like a 4-day drive.
I've already planned it out. It's going to be a total of 7 days with me taking some breaks along the way, seeing some.
Okay, it is. I think it's 48 or 49 hours
direct,
straight, so that if you don't stop, like pee out the window and
exactly. You're getting gas while in motion. You know, the guys are leaning out with the pump, and you know.
There was a movie like that once.
Oh yeah, there's been a lot of stuff. But I'm gonna, for example,
it must have been a Fast and Furious one.
I'm gonna be spending some time. One of the people I hope to see is
ShamWow.
Yep.
You'll need one of them to wipe the car.
Exactly. I'm gonna be spending some time, I think, with Buckeye Guy J Flow. I've got a cousin I want to see in Minnesota. I went to school in Bozeman, Montana, so I want to stop through and say hi to folks there, spend some time in each stop. So I started doing some planning. Yeah, Cannonball Run. I don't think they had the gassing, but I know they were doing the fast trips. But they were using sports cars. I'm going to be pushing my little Subaru. In fact, I was thinking about selling it. I'm definitely going to probably sell it after the trip. Let's put all the miles on it and then sell it. Because I don't want to put a whole bunch of miles on the first on a brand new car. And yes, I am fly fishing around Bozeman is absolutely amazing. That's why I went to school there. Half the reason, the skiing and then the fly fishing. So,
I'm not one to fish. Like typically, I'll just be sitting in the boat, and the only thing at the end of my line is a 6-pack.
No, this is actually standing in the rivers and whipping a fly around. So, it's something I haven't done in forever. I probably won't do it on this trip because I'm going to try and make it as fast as possible. Like I said, I'm looking at 6 to 7 days. In fact, trying to time it between productions. One of the things though that I did is I had a newish laptop fall into my hands. I've actually set that up now as a backup rig. I have OBS on it. I have all the profiles for all my shows. I think the next time I run, because if everybody doesn't know, Pierre and I swap who runs this show from a production standpoint. Next time I run it, I'm going to use the laptop to see how that works. That's going to be one of my testing productions. But easy enough. It works great. I've already streamed once, me personally, just for 10 minutes, just to make sure the streaming worked on it. Worked great. It's got its own. It's not a system on a chip. It's got not a distinct. What is that called when it has a video card? Like an actual video card. It's a mobile video card, but it's got a video card. Anyway, it's got that. It's an i7, 24 gigs of RAM. It's actually a nice little laptop. So
Yeah.
and it's a Lenovo T460S from 2017. So I mean, it's a great little laptop. But,
Yeah, the only thing on laptops sometimes is that when you switch from NVENC, hardware NVENC to software encoding, unless you have, like, it can't be running Teams at the same time.
So there are some things I'm going to have to do on there. One of the things I wanted to also try was see if we could, Skype actually worked great on it because I actually used a Skype call to test it.
Yep.
I was also going to take a look at how Discord audio video worked on there. So I think that would be kind of nice.
Okay. Well, that's one thing. That's one thing we should try in upcoming episodes is to try different streaming platform, because we've been using OBS for the duration of this, the life of this show so far.
Yep.
But there are many others like Melon or StreamYard or
For sure.
even Stream. There's like a Streamlab OBS, which is, I think, don't they have? Is it like a hybrid?
It's a hybrid. It's. I didn't think you'd like the Streamlab OBS because basically it's the OBS with all those overlays and all that shit built into it. Oh, sorry, stuff built into it. Oops, I'm gonna have to edit that now. But it's got all the overlays and all that when you're talking about like stream elements type stuff built into it.
Okay.
So that's why. But it is OBS underneath, is what it is.
Yeah. So we'll have to do complete streams on different platforms to see what the changes are and what the shortcomings and the benefits, because every platform has got them, and we'll have to check it out. Yep. And speaking of that, because we are coming up on the top of the hour,
yes.
Going back to our chat room here, if you guys have any topics that you guys want us to discuss, and we are willing to actually test it in production. So that's the name of the show. Let us know what you want to see, because we're here for you. We could have that conversation on our own, but we're streaming it because I think for some of you, this might be valuable information. You want chairs? Visio MVP wants chairs. What, you want me to bring you a chair, or you want to see my chair?
might want to see what we have for chairs.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we could do a virtual office visits to see how we've got all our day-to-day office set up. Let us know what you want to see, and we'll try to make it happen.
And I'm gonna have a mobile office set up when I get to New York. I'm actually looking at a couple of things. I might actually rent an office.
Do you want to borrow a Pelican?
No, I don't need the Pelican. I'm going to be driving, so everything's going to be in the back. Oh, good question. What do you find comfortable for long sessions? Good question. Yeah. Finding the right chair for a long day, and especially if you're sitting a lot, is definitely a requirement.
Yeah. I typically will try to change. So I'll sit for a while, and then I'll stand for a while. But I have to have a break because my desk is fairly loud, and because everything is bolted onto the desk, when I move it, like the camera starts shaking, the lights start shaking until it gets to, because I've got a bit more weight on top of my desk than what the legs were designed for.
What?
What?
my
Mr. Wilson.
My desk is actually really nice. It moves fairly stable, so it doesn't bounce around too much.
But you have to think that I put a butcher block, maple butcher block that's almost an inch and a quarter thick on top as my desktop. So we're not talking presswood IKEA tops here.
Oh, definitely not. And one thing I did want to just say, we're going to be setting, we're starting to get things rolling here But we're gonna be getting our YouTube page set up. Currently, only have 7 people, so we can't get the custom URL on YouTube. But we're gonna actually I actually grabbed testing. I think it's testingandproductionpodcast.com. And we'll point it at the YouTube channel, and we'll tweet that out on Twitter, the Twitters, and post it to other social media. And we're going to start getting all the backlog caught up here. I'm going to be working on some production this weekend. So it's supposed to rain heavily here in Seattle. So I'm going to stay inside and do some video production, not get wet.
Yeah, I'm going to be visiting my my in-laws. My father-in-law's not doing well, so
I'm glad you get a chance to do so.
Yeah. So it's probably it might be now or never.
Yeah, no kidding. That's kind of unfortunately how I feel about my mother, which is I want to spend the time with her as much as I can. So
it is a strange day, strange times for our lives, my friends. And on that note, I think we need to wrap this up. It's 1:00.
Yep. Thanks everybody for showing up. Real quick shout out to everyone. We got Buckeye Guy, J Flow, Absablog, and Lootly showed up. Hello, sir. Another TT viewer. Aspen Forrester, A10, Exchange SME, Game Trend Analytics. I am Curious Mave. I am Per, Lateraling, PBOJ. That's shouldn't that be PBNJ? Vizio MVP. Good to see you, sir. And Womblegooner. So good to have you around. Next week we'll be back to having a patch and switch. Don't forget, if you're not watching AZ Update at it's 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific. I don't have the UTC in my head, so I can't tell you. Make sure to check it out.
Yeah, and I'll be co-hosting with Anthony again next week.
Awesome.
Sarah's busy, so
that happens.
I know. It's too bad, but you know,
exactly.
You'll have to deal with me.
Is there an URL for the AZ Update live stream? It's over on YouTube on the IT Ops Talk channel. We'll get Pierre to post out some sort of link for you. How's that sound?
Yeah, I think aka.ms AZ Update links to the blog post, which has the video embedded, so you can just click on that and you'll go right into it. But in the blog post, all of the links and all of the information that we talk about during the show are already there. That's the reason why we do it this way.
So, and I'm actually working on some ideas. Haven't talked to Pierre about it, about where we could post our links that week, because like this show would have a lot of links. We should be posting out some of the information that we have here. So we'll be working on that, folks. Appreciate everybody stopping by. And to quote Mr. Snow, have a weekend, everybody.
Cheers.